As I was finishing up my daily reading in the book of Joshua, in the last chapter, just about finished the book, I came across a scripture that I had never seen before, had never paid any attention to it before. And it was talking about a stone. And it was a stone that Joshua had put beside this oak tree. And he said, this is a testimony. And I read that. I thought, okay, because you remember we started this study talking about the book of Joshua, about those 12 men who picked up those stones in the Jordan River as Joshua had commanded them to do, and to take them across to the other side and to put them up as a memorial. And it was said, what mean ye by these stones? As a mom or a dad would pass by and the children would see those stones and say, what are these stones all about? And it was an opportunity for the mom or the dad to testify of God's work, crossing the Jordan River, the taking of Jericho, and all the things that God had did during those days in the wilderness. And so now, as we come to the end of this book, once again, here's Joshua putting this big stone out as a testimony. And this is what it says, behold, this stone shall be a witness unto you. And then in the 27th verse, it says, for it has heard all the words of the Lord which he spake unto us. And again, it's a very intriguing scripture. Here, scripture is saying that this rock has heard all the words that have been spoken to them. Well, now, I took this thought and I just began to let it just kind of work through my mind. And I thought to myself, of all the things that are often left behind that speaks of something that took place here. You look at you're driving down the road and you see an old church building that's no longer serving as a place of meeting. It's old now. It's deteriorated. And you realize that that's a testimony of days gone by, of many wonderful things that had happened in that building. But then the remaining question is, what happened here? Why is it no longer in existence? Why is there no longer meetings taking place? And you realize that becomes a testimony, and it cries out to you because there's things that causes you to wonder, how did this happen? Well, after having read that passage of scripture in the last book of Joshua, I began my readings in the book of Judges, and my heart was saddened as I began to read about after the death of Joshua, how that the nation of Israel, the children of Israel, they immediately, almost seemingly immediately, began to go into worship of idols such as Ashtoreth and Baal. And as Joshua said, when you see this stone, it will serve as a testimony, often a testimony against what's happening in the current time. Well, this causes my mind to think about a lot of things that speak as a testimony against those who once served Jesus with a passion, but no more. This is Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.